Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week of NASA, where we'll be seeing two featured series from the Tier 2 League of Omega Strikers. First up is Fly versus Rose, and Fly's looking a little different, well, so is Rose as well. What can you tell me about these two teams?
Well, most notable thing that we could see here almost immediately is no Doxy in for Rose, the Rose team, right? Instead, subbing in Dave for this particular series. Not sure if Doxy's going to sub in later or not, but currently they have Dave in place. And so with this Spark Start and the build different, Dave actually opting, or Luke actually playing the Aimee this time. I was expecting Dave to play the Aimee, but Dave going for the Luna here. And between the solo queue demons of J-Man and Firemidin, will they be able to get past Luke's strong defense with Dave on the backfield? Or will Flying Blobos finally be able to take their second win this season?
Yeah, they're lacking Pensando now, having gone over to Nassel to save a struggling Modern Magic, but I don't know, J-Man and Firemadden, they were the duo that was promised when we instantly the dude that we thought of when we instantly saw this Flying Blobos roster. That might be what brings them to greatness here, but Twisty's being allowed to run free, and if she is having fun on the Kazan, that means J-Man's going to have a hard time, but a good dash will save the goal for that moment.
Probably one of the best characters against that Asher is the Kazan, being able to just reposition the core against a goalie that would much rather have the core in their face. So Twisty maybe having the advantage in that case, especially having the size. But we'll see how she's able to take advantage of the size with this offensive pressure that Luna and Aimee are able to get.
Fireman and J-Man, though, displaying some synergy on the defense this time. Really good saves against the Luna, but that's a flip. Blocked away by a single strike from Firemadden, and now Luke flips it away. Twisty gets the goal, but that block was crucial for the side of Flying Blobos. They burn an additional flip from Rose.
An additional flip, and that's the power of that extra size on Kazan right there. Just being able to yoink it out of the hands of J-Man before they can even realize it and try to adjust their fire, and getting a nice goal there. Even with the extra flip, does kind of suck to have to use that with that initial parry, but with Fireman being low and being one of these two that has flips online, we'll see if they can make this work or not. Oh, and double flip used.
Oh yeah, that wasted flip is tough. Now the energy economy is back to even, and it swings in the favor of Rose as the full metered Kai goes down. No more Fireman for a while longer, and Dave and Twisty are setting up the passing plays, with Luke joining in as well. A ton of damage onto Alphamy, a ton of chip damage is what this comp does best, but the primary goes a little bit wide from Twisty. The KO not found, and Dave actually sniped off the edge on the offensive attempt, and now it's actually the Flying Blobos who might be in a bit of an advantage if they could push forward here, but Alphamy is being kept low. It's a bit of a tough spot as the Firewall Sentry is played defensively, and J-Man's forced to dash. A lot of flips going to be burned in the oncoming offense, but Alphamy finds an opening, can't get the second strike, and once again it's a bit of a stalemate in the midfield.
Bit of a stalemate, and all the cooldowns coming out, and a stalemate honestly only benefits Rose. They have that team comp that loves to just jump in and take advantage of a bad situation, and the bad situations come from this damage, but Firemidin finding a great strike, gets the barrier, and now the passing play is coming in into the pendulum swing, and possibly the double kill. No, Dave survives, but Alphamy scoring a beautiful goal off the back of the midfielding of Firemidin.
Yeah, really well played. This team is really showing up to be a big team play team, as we saw in their previous series. A shame that they could not win more than one, but they were against some of the toughest teams in the league, so their later schedule is going to be a lot more favorable than their early schedule, and it could start here with Alphamy getting two barriers in an instant. Twisty, no meter available, dribbling up the field, interrupted. Fireman getting in there, but Luke jumps in to take the barrier back, and now Twisty's on a scoring attempt here, but primaried away by J-Man. So much damage with the Pat Splitter as well, and J-Man is playing this defense quite well.
Oh, defense quite well, but getting pushed away and saying that, no, you're coming with me, Scorpion, get over here. I mean, he's just yoinks him off as well as the death. And now with the 2v2, which kind of benefits Luna and Aimee here, but good defense from J-Man, good control of the core means no scoring is going to be happening, and with both power plays ending, the two flips on the side of Rose threaten to take this point with these two characters that can cross the map instantly.
Oh, but Twisty hits it right to J-Man, and J-Man has some good strikes to get it out of there. Alphamy as well, hooking it away, trying to spin it away. The primary goes wide, but the pass splitter is good. The power play stalled out now as Fireman rockets to the other side. A flip used by Luke to Twisty to find the goal, and Rose will maintain a lead.
Wow, what a shot there. Finding just basically the only pixel that could get by that giant Asher into the top corner. And Luke actually initially whiffing the strike, I think, caused a slight misposition on Flying Blabo's side as the later strike came in. But getting that goal anyway, and now threatening to take this first very crucial set with all these very strong awakenings currently in the rotation.
Alphamy, though, trying to make this set go to a 0.5 and looking quite successful with 2 barriers taken yet again. The breakaway plays on this Rasmussen, a team play defense from J-Man and Firemadden, getting it out of there. The center pops, but the primary avoided, and it gets rocketed to the top corner by the nuke of Dave. The crater backfires, and we're headed to a final point for the first set.
The crater giveth and the crater taketh away. And unfortunately, Aimee hates when the core goes fast, and Crater loves to make the core go fast. But I will say Luke has been quite comfortable on this defensive Aimee, being able to just kind of blink forward and use Glitch Pop offensively whenever he wants. And that's really the specialty of Aimee and what she loves to do. So the more Luke can do that, the more Rose has a good chance to take this set.
And a great barrier beam by J-Man. Twisty trying to find a dribble, has the flip, takes the barrier, and now it's a tough situation for the side of Flying Blabos. Pass and plays from Dave, a flip away from J-Man, but Luke is there to keep the core moving forward. Alphamy and Fireman an approach, but not quite enough speed to get it through, and Twisty's still alive. That Kazan is still a threat on the other side of the map that you have to be aware of on the defense, especially for J-Man in the matchup. And once again in the midfield, Dave has a flip available. It's such a big threat on the side of Rose.
A threat for not only a scoring play from that dashing in Lunar like that, but also the ability to just pass to Twisty. Twisty's been positioning herself in an open area, trying to kind of avoid damage, but also just waiting for the pass and misses the flip. Dave misses the flip, and that kind of stalls out a lot of scoring potential that this team has. Asher is a tough nut to crack, and without that flip, it doesn't happen. But power play, Saya.
Oh, and a big catch by Twisty, hooking it back right below J-Man's primary. Really noticing the habits of J-Man there on the defense and capitalizing accordingly. And that's a Luke first pick. Luke has been excellent on both sides, offense and defense so far. But this draft's a little bit strange, right? There's a lot of strong picks like that single spark for scaling with that spark start. But there are a lot of very defensive awakenings on the board here.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very interesting draft, I think, because not only is Spark there, team players there, Chrono Boost is there, actually being not even picked up by either Chrono Boost user on this map, falling completely to the wayside. Dave picking up the team player on the Luna, who would have rather taken some damage, but Firemadden having to deny that damage away from Dave by taking the Rezil and now being super tanky. And just an instant death from Alphamy. Oof, the Stagger Swagger saves you in every scenario except that one. And a great shot from Dave means double barrier right out of the gate. Taking advantage of this speed, and there's the team player for the core speed as well. What a point.
Yeah, after that draft, I think Rose have a very good chance of just taking it all here because it was really, really rough for the side of Flying Blobwoods. Of course, they still get some of the tools they need, but you mentioned the Chrono Boost, right? Firemadden had to pick up that Spark, which is a great pick, but Chrono Boost and Castellas both taken off the table entirely. But maybe it doesn't even matter, or maybe it does as Twisty goes in to trade a barrier back, 2 barriers down on the side of Rose as once again the Crater sends it backwards, but this time not catastrophically, and a lot of damage put onto Twisty. Good elusive to stay alive here, and Luke not going to let the goal go in just yet as Dave interrupting in the midfield for now.
Interrupting in the midfield, interrupting Dave with the death touch, but not able to make that strike war happen. And then just a straight up kill. That extra power given to Kai with the recent patch means that he has even more bullying potential than he had before. And Luke having used strike, not off cooldown, and Alphamy just sends it right past him.
That's a bit rough, but we can tell that Fly still has a little bit of fight left, right? Alphamy and Firemadden have the scoring potential if they're allowed to push forward And we're seeing that right here. The Rasmus, although in a nightmare matchup, that layered crater actually hurts Luke there. I think the unstoppable Aimi would have had a fine time, but the crater means that there are too many hitboxes to deal with, and both barriers go down yet again. Despite the awkwardness, it is Fly who are in control now. Fire Madden so tanky with that double spark, including resilience, and J-Man managing to defend here. Really good backwards dribble to set up a barrier beam, and Fire Madden wins a raw strike war versus Luke to close out that point. Flying Blabos 1 point away from tying it all up.
I would say that's Fireman and J-Man's like major crux, I guess you could say, is they're very good at just knowing how to win very crucial strike wars when they're able to be given the time to do something like that. And in that scenario, Fireman was given the time to take that strike war against Luke, and guessing correctly that that early strike is going to catch that Luke off guard, who's waiting patiently for the strike. But double barriers from Dave and Twisty here. Twisty having to run all the way back before she gets KO'd once again. But the double barriers and the flip means Rose threaten yet another point.
Yeah, and right there on the defense, you mentioned it, the strike wars, J-Man patient as well, and a patient setup by Alphamy around the barrier this time. But J-Man, not quite the dash they were looking for there. Tries to predict bottom, but Twisty has a clean dribble to the top side, and we're at the second 0.5 of the day already.
What a clean dribble into pop-up, by the way. Holy crap. Just understanding the idea to go around the Asher, that basically covers everything Asher could do besides being patient and stepping backward. And by doing so, gets this goal. But speaking of goals, these two barriers are down already. Even with this Aimi that has unstoppable against Erasmus, struggling to find the defense is Rose right now.
The Crater sends it back. Dave keeps possession though, but a good passing play on the defense by Fire Madden, and J-Man trying to send it forward to Alphamy, but a good clear by Luke through the center. Awkward spot now, but Twisty wins the crucial strike war, and Luke sends it forward, but the Giga Blast, what a great Giga Blast to keep the possession up, and J-Man's pushing all the way forward. Fireman has flexed to the goalie roll, and they're going to reset situation for a little bit as they try to find a pass forward, but Twisty's in their face. Alphamy trying to find an opportunity, the turret there for Luke. Alphamy still maintaining possession on the offense, but it's still not quite enough. Alphamy finally to the bottom side. No, a flip available now for Fire Madden. A weird defensive play from the side of Rose as Alphamy keeps the pressure going, and now finally a flip from Dave, blocked away by J-Man as Alphamy doesn't have a strike for that one, unfortunately. Fire Madden has a flip available, trying to find an opportunity to send it forward, and a bounce shot perfectly angled to the top side. Fire Madden knew exactly the angle that was necessary for the goal.
Both necessary and a bit of a fake out. Luke using the glitch pop to counter the pass to Alphamy, but it was never a pass at all. It was just pointedly a shot on goal that Luke did not see coming. And Luke has been seen basically almost, I would say almost every play from Flying Blabos coming by being in the right spot with the blink, by being in the right spot with the glitch pop. But being juked out by that one thing means this Kai now has 3 sparks, and Catalyst goes to Alphamy. This draft, I think, has gone in the favor of Flying Blabos.
Yep. Unfortunately, the 4th spark is lost here, but they will definitely take 3. A lot of raw stats coming out, especially that speed now on the table with the additional stagger as well. This Kai is never dying to conventional measures, as a perfect form is going to be so useful for J-Man. Flying Blabos get a very valuable draft here. They lose both barriers, but in terms of raw power, they are in the driver's seat.
In the driver's seat right now, and in the driver's seat at this point, both barriers still up, one going down here, but nobody cares about the one. But unfortunately, an interesting clear and a lost strike war from Twisty means no more barriers for either team, and both sides kind of struggle against these barriers, but right now, the speed that Rasmus and Kai both have means these plays are going to happen, but Dave does not care about your speed, it does not care about how big your Asher is, immediately just dashes in, wins the strike war, and takes advantage of that twin drive pickup.
That's the constant threat if you're playing against the Luna, especially with twin drives, like you mentioned. Dave's going to have a scoring presence that you always have to be aware of, and that second layer strike is good as well. Twisty going for the double barrier, not quite well defended by J-Man, as the damage could be a factor here. The damage pressure with the spark scaling, especially on this Kai with the additional power, but another missed dash by J-Man, and Dave pushes it forward. A good flip by J-Man to send it away, but this Asher needs to be more careful because that's a Dave rocket while dying to get the point for the Rose.
The fadeaway rocket to score the goal, and Dave, I think, got a little unlucky that the path splitter actually got the KO there because it stacked the knockback from the pendulum swing, leading to his death. But it didn't matter. Throws the rocket, you know, the Kobe fadeaway, and just gets the score anyway at the end of the day.
And still maintaining some good strike wars here, but Alphamy pushes forward, tries to change their fate in this point, because so far it's been a 2-0 lead for Rose here. And if you're flying Blobos, you must be sweating a little bit. It's looking prime for another set, but a good pendulum swing, a weird strike loss from Luke, means that Alphamy is pushing forward, tries to go for a hook strike, but defended away still as Alphamy, Fireman running forward. Dave saves it away, but J-Man has had some amazing passes to transition to the offense here, and that one is no different. Still a tough spot though. Alphamy might be forced to use Flip soon, and with Catalyst, using Flip is probably good, but a little bit wasted there. The trajectory predicted, but the prediction was a little bit incorrect. Alphamy still pushing forward, and Fireman trying to beat the turret, but the defense has been so good from Rose so far.
Oh, that was a crazy play from Twisty to swipe the core out of the primary from J-Man with the pop-up, and because of that gets the barrier, and now they threaten all these plays, the hook into strike, the core speed from the crater, the flip now from Dave into the bottom corner, nobody covering the angle. Dave seeing it and using the flip and the team player to just get all that speed for a very clean 3-0 from Rose there.
3-0, they're looking for some more, and Deadeye does appear on the table here. Hotshot, also an interesting awakening for the Luna that we see to great success, but it's probably the Deadeye. No, it's the Egoist. Sorry, my bad. Denying Egoist Catalyst is very important here to prevent Alphamy from taking over the game. But honestly, I think, they were really trying to pass that peak to Fireman in here.
Fireman, yeah. Absolutely. Trying to get that extra speed from the stagger onto Fireman, that would have been even more speed for this already fast Kai, but picks up the aerials. Unfortunately, that does mean that Twisty doesn't have access to Primetime or Rapid Fire, both of arguably Kazan's stronger awakenings. But nothing not to be said about having Fight or Flight and Knife's Edge here on top of the peak performance for an already squishy character. And double teaming is Dave and Luke for the KO onto Alphamy. And with this power play and their global presence, how do you not score here?
Wait a second, Fireman is how you don't score. Look at that, trying to win a final strike war to win it all. 2 barriers taken, and Twisty desperately trying to find the offense here, but still cleared away by J-Man. Fireman somehow in the 1v3 finds 2 barriers, and now it's an open goal situation for both sides, but the dash is burned from J-Man. That's an important cooldown down. Dave can be looking for a play here, but it goes right into the hands of J-Man, who now has flipped for more defensive insurance. Big opportunity for the Flying Blobos to get sended forward here. Alphamy trying to find a play, and a great Giga Blast perfectly to the top corner. Fireman, and what a montage of a point.
A montage of a point, and that point comes on the back of not only just a good strike war win to get basically the double barrier, but the Mag Souls enjoyers themselves using the Mag Soul speed to threaten the goal means that Luke and Dave were extremely pressured even in a 1v3, but it doesn't matter because here comes the pressure from the side of Rose. 3 flips on their side with both barriers gone, 1 used now, and nothing found. But that's okay. Another flip used defensively to keep it forward, but it doesn't matter. Alphamy steals it with their flip, and now another flip in the goal, waits for the secondary and gets the strike war, and Twisty. Crucial point there for Rose.
Oh, and a rare case of impatience from J-Man. Didn't layer the strike after the secondary, like, just immediately striked, I believe, and Twisty got the timing to get it out of there. Fireman, though, has plenty of speed to work with, right? That aerials with the triple spark, agility, it's really coming into play here.
Speed in general is coming into play here. J-Man's about to finish off the stacks, and this Asher's not only going to be big and have cooldowns, but also be fast, which is going to make her just an absolute beast of a defender. And they're going to need some creative plays from Rose once that speed comes on, because good luck killing this Asher with Powerhouse Pauldrons.
You know, the Paladins really making it so that it's hard to strike around to win a strike war, but Twisty manages to do so with the Kazan. Press the point, the special strike, and Dave blocking away the pendulum swing. Twisty trying to go for a dribbling play. Alphemy winning a midfield strike war with Luke, and that means Fire Madden can push forward, trying to find a passing play with the Giga Blast, but it goes wide as Dave pushes forward as well. But Fire Madden is maneuvering so well here, making sure these strike wars aren't strike wars. They're guaranteed wins. So much speed, forcing the flip out of Luke as well. And wow, just winning strike war after strike war. This time a slow dribbling core to the top side.
If there's one thing these Normscues demons are good at, it's using their speed to their advantage. Fireman and J-Man always cover so much ground. A lot of coaches always talk about like area of influence, and these two really understand the area of influence they gain by getting all this speed and use it to the best of their ability. Look at Fireman and just running along the midfield line, using that Mag Soul speed to reposition and cover everything.
Yeah, the Mag Soldier coming through once again, pushing up now. Alphemy receives a perfect pass from Fireman to find a barrier, looking for another here as Dave and Twisty desperately try to defend on the bottom side. Luke now pushing forward for a moment, but amazing patience by J-Man to not even flinch in the face of that, continuing to maintain this barrier for the time being. Oh, and a late flip. Dave finds a good strike around absolutely everyone as Alphemy tries to find some more, but this time can't get a final strike on it. And now a dangerous situation in the bottom side. Twisty trying to hook it away, but Fireman on the defense with the barrage will save it away as well, but the Giga Blast angle goes a little bit wide. Fireman still winning strike wars in the midfield though, and trying to push forward, but it's going to be tough against the flip of Luke.
A KO comes out though, and I actually missed what hit the core there. Oh, just a rocket, a simple rocket. I had to look at the replay. Grabs that core out of Firemidden's hands, and nobody was expecting that from the side of Flying Blobos, and that secures them a chance here at game point for this first game here in the series.
Yeah, Rose Petals 1 point away, and it could be closer than you might think because that's one barrier going down already. Alphemy, good strike, and a great detonation of the center. 2 barriers taken with that, using the terrain, using the map to its full advantage here. Twisty now with the flip available. Might get impatient and try to flip for this one here, but that's exactly what... No, that's not what the Flying Blobos want. That's still a flip on Twisty now. A chance to close out this game, perhaps, if Alphemy and Fireman can't keep the core under control permanently. Twisty potentially flipping in the midfield here. Really dangerous spot. A flip, top side, looking for an angle here, but a good defense by the Flying Blobos will prevent that from happening. Now an awkward flip, but it's just enough to get past Luke.
Luke expecting a higher shot with the defense on the bottom, and Alphemy just going for yet another off the wall into the bottom corner there, and Aimee just not fast enough. Aimee probably the only character in this game that doesn't have speed waiting for her at beck and call, and not much here for her to do that either. But with Timeless up, probably going to grab that instead. 1-2 punch going to Firemidden, interesting. Maybe even going for extra damage. With all the power that he now has with the Sparks. A big wait here for the team of Rose, though, to make sure that this Kazan gets another size and more stagger to pair with that peak performance. Super Surge going to the Aimee, and Prize Fighter going to Dave. Wow. They're really just looking to try and make this pressure happen even more as everything gets dumped on Alphemy there.
Yeah, that Super Surge is really going to unlock Luke Cyber Swipes here. But it's still a tough spot as Alphemy goes for a second strike. It's absolutely blown up in the corner. And although Stagger Swagger is great, if you're already low, it doesn't do too much. Fireman, on the other hand, just has a lot of raw stagger. So that guy's going to be surviving for a little while longer, it feels like, as Alphemy. So much speed with that explosive entrance, actually. A really valuable awakening, just like how Chrono Boost is sometimes prioritized on the Rasmus here. And that additional speed on the team might be what Flying Blobos needs to close out this game. A Sad Boys angle from all the way over there. That was a really far one. It's usually the up close ones that are Sad Boys.
It's so much harder to hit that Sad Boys angle from there, but unfortunately now Dave is gone off the pitch. After getting a KO, loses that Prize Fighter stack, and we're back to normal Prize Fighter stacks for Dave. But Alphemy and Firemidden not able to use the speed against this slow Aimee to get that barrier, and that means everyone is back up. Now forced to use the flip to get this here. Firemidden's flip coming up, but the strike pass means no scoring opportunity just quite yet.
And another, wow, just another shot around the barrier. The Rose Petals struggling a little bit, but this time it will be the top spin. And an amazing shot by Dave with the team player in overtime to close it out. A little unfortunate they missed the barrier twice, but on the third time they immediately score.
Third time immediately score, and off the back of this extremely high-powered Luna with team player means immediate red cores permanently, basically, with any strike from this extremely powerful Luna. And if they're able to get any more stacks on this prize fighter, it could spell curtains for Flying Blabbo's opportunities. But a good pass from Fireman off the flip to try and save their life also gets a barrier in the process.
Yeah, I think that was a creative pass by J-Man, because although it took the barrier, that could have transitioned into quick offense for Alphamy. Unfortunately, it didn't work out quite as well as they expected. They still have a barrier, though, and Fireman is pushing forward. Alphamy trying to get into position here, but a flip by Luke will put an end to those ambitions. As once again, Fireman in so much speed to work with, but can't quite get past the double defense of Twisty and Dave for the moment.
For the moment, but Asher being forced into that top position means the not as defensive Kai is forced to take that 1v1 against the Luna, and Dave wins it with that twin dash dive, and all the defensive options now coming out from Rose Petals, but it's still on their side. But good defense from Luke, good strikes to just keep it in possession. Almost finds that snipe too to get it in, but not quite. And now kind of resetting to neutral here as everyone's trying to set up for their next opportunity.
Twisty pushing forward, but you gotta watch out for Fireman because with the 1-2 punch, they got pseudo team player, but doesn't matter if they're not getting the core. Twisty maintaining possession on the bottom side, one goal away from taking it.
Oh, that was interesting. That looked a lot faster than it probably should have been, because Twisty coming down off of the Maddening Descent means that they were close enough to get the nice edge, and that just little bit of extra speed means that the Asher just wasn't quite in position to reach that strike and just caught everyone off guard at the same time.
A bit of a crazy defensive interaction there. J-Man did primary, secondary, primary, and Dave just couldn't do anything in the corner. I mean, Asher looking like a bit of a wall when you could burn all those cooldowns at once, and with them hitting, the perfect form refund is going to be quite great as well as J-Man pushes up to the midfield. And a great pendulum swing by Alphamy. A flip burned by Twisty to try and interrupt, but it's another flip by Luke on the defense now. The Flying Blabbos need to make the most of this one.
Need to make the most of it, and the most they are. This defense is coming off, or most they are not, because the defense is coming from the side of Rose Petals, and now Dave is back. One thing I will say is Alpha B has been making a good adjustment against this Unstoppable, trying to go more for the snipes of passes and the snipes of strikes rather than trying to hit the IME directly while that Unstoppable is up. So with this adjustment, can Flying Blabbos make this work, or will Rose take this game?
Flip in the bottom corner, looking for a pass to Fireman, and once again a great Giga Blast to follow up, but they lose a barrier as well. Alphamy's got to be quick with this one. Fireman's got to interrupt because it's a Twisty 1v1 there. The last bit of the primary will stop at the barrier beam. Not enough as Twisty gets another shot from across the map, and Rose Petals will take a hotly contested first game.
What a maddening descent too. Twisty just sussing out that low pass against the corner that Fireman and J-Man love to go for. If it's not the center clear, they love to go for those wall clear/wall passes. And Twisty sussing it out, taking advantage of the nice edge bonus damage on the core and sneaking it right by and getting kind of a lucky bounce there. But at the same time, if you look at where that maddening descent landed, basically on the edge of the arena, means that Twisty knew it was happening and she took advantage of that and was able to find the goal at the end of it all, regardless. So great game sense from Twisty. 8 goals against a very powerful Asher build. I mean, Rose showing why they're currently pretty high on the leaderboards right now. I think they're 2-1 if I'm not mistaken, and their one loss, they were very close to winning that game. I believe it was 3-2, 3-2. In their one loss that they had, or maybe it was 3-0 and then they lost 2-3, 2-3 twice in a row. So and this midfield performance from Dave, you don't really expect much out of a Luna, right? Luna not really known to be like the midfield demon that she can be, but Dave opting for a very interesting build in Twin Drive, ignoring the Spark of Focus and taking advantage of the team player means this Luna has 303 redirects, highest in the game on a character you would not expect that kind of play. And I will say Luke had absolute crazy game sense to basically suss out every single play that Flying Blebos were able to make, and which allowed them to take those early sets and take that early advantage to put a ton of pressure on Flying Blebos.
Yeah, and we're heading on to our next map now, Gates of Obscura. A bit of an interesting one coming in with the map rotation in tournament. And any thoughts about that map and how it might play out for these two teams?
You know, I'm not actually sure, because the team of Flying Blobos loves their speed. They just love being fast. They love taking advantage of those fast plays, and they love making sure that you don't get to clear it around them because they're just simply faster than you. They love to get it around you through passes. They love to just make sure you have no clear angles. You could almost think of it as like a pseudo creation. Right? When you put a rune pillar down or you put an Imi turret down, you're kind of saying, okay, this place is off limits to clear angles, right? You're trying to reduce the area that something can be cleared. Well, J-Man and Firemiden, and in essence also Alpha Me, they love to use speed, especially the speed of Mag Souls, to make sure that you don't have the ability to clear it. They're saying this whole area that I can cover with this speed is now no longer something you can clear. And when they reach certain thresholds, it becomes the entire clearable area. And so you either have to win a guess against them, or you have to use an ability. And if you run out of abilities, they're waiting for you to do that, and they will take advantage of that. And then if you look at the other side, Luke and Dave love to play those kind of dashy characters that can get across the map quickly, but maybe aren't the fastest initially. And it kind of is playing the same idea, right? When you have these dash characters that can cover those areas, they're also saying, you can't go here as long as my cooldown is up. So they're kind of playing the same game with different goals in the onset of it all. So on Obscura specifically, I personally think speed has a higher advantage. But with the portals, you can have some interesting dash plays, passing to yourself via the portal, setting up good Imi positionings. I would assume an Imi is going to come out here. In fact, I actually do see one in the draft currently. And with the Imi rune, they are creating. It's time to create, Saya.
And Runa pick that has risen up in terms of, I guess, perception in recent times. Of course, received a few buffs, but in general, Rune considered a top tier midfielder at the moment. Of course, not the type of character that's pickable in every situation, but a character that is incredibly good in the right situations. And on Gates of Obscura, with this start, this might be a right situation right here.
The hotshot start, it's eaten good for Rune. And like you said, he's become quite a good midfield pick lately. I think it's because he just has the ability to influence. It's kind of similar to Imi, right? Not very many characters can influence the core from a different position and be able to hit it any direction they want, right? Imi, one of the few. She has both of her abilities. She can do that. If you do dash strike, primary, her glitch pop can hit it any direction you want as long as you position it correctly. Same thing with rune pillars. Rune pillars can hit it any direction. They're also near instant cast, so it catches even the best players off guard. You basically have to always wait if you think rune is in range, or you're going to get your core stolen from you from a properly placed rune pillar. And then at the other end of the thing, it's a creation, right? You get any size on the creation, or just even put it in the right spot, and you've got no clear angle anymore. You have nothing, and rune can just stand in the spot that you have to clear it to. So just overall a very strong pick. And then all of that to say, at the end of it, he still has Banish. Banish is a crazy tool to just get free scores on an unsuspecting goalie. Just a really good character that has seen so much more play.
Yeah, it does require quite a bit of proficiency on the character to power it to its full potential, and Banish really a threat in terms of stopping offense, as well as we see it come out in the goalie position for Luke. With that hot shot, it is going to be so difficult to deal with if Luke can get good timings on the pillars. But Dave and Twisty are going to try to make that not even a factor here if they can push forwards and create offense fast enough here.
Create offense fast enough, but I will say Firemiden getting, I think not Firemiden, J-Man getting, I think their most popular goalie pick is in the now. And weirdly, going for the swipe the swap here? Oh no, it's Firemiden on the Now and J-Man on the Kai. This is what they're known for the most part, the Now Kai. But unfortunately, a pass through the portal right up to the hands of Twisty means first point goes over to Rose.
It's also a bit tough on this map in particular, right? Kai, not the greatest at defending these barriers. It's a bit of an awkward shape. You're a little wide, and Gates of Obscura, a map where it's just tough for the goalie unless you're just a creation goalie, which Luke is. Luke's gonna be pillar in some good angles there, but a good follow up by Alphamy on the Zentaro. Alphamy used to be a bit of a Zentaro one trick, right? So a lot of comfort on the side for Flying Blabos.
A lot of comfort for Flying Blavos. We'll see if that comfort can translate into a win here. Currently, it's translating into a ton of pressure, but the defense from Rose has been exceptionally strong. And this Kai, like you said, is going to have a lot more trouble. Double creations in his face against a character who really only has one decent cooldown to try and deal with these cores. But a great flip into the portal means basically a free barrier there. And now double flip from the side of Flying Blabos means they take it here with using 2 flips, but it's getting them a point in this set.
Big point to be had here, and Fireman still has that meter available. Luke working on one as well, and although those flips being used is a lot of energy expended, I think as long as Flying Blabos can keep the pace up, can keep the core forward, I think they're in a good spot, because that's exactly what their comp's built to do, right? The Now Kai combination. If the core's in their face, they're not going to have the greatest of times, but if they can use their speed, they could use their hitboxes to keep the core forward, they're going to be feasting on the offense here. Really tough spot, though. Dave with a perfect glitch pop to split the C here, as J-Man and Fireman both just can't reach it.
Yeah, I've always personally known Dave as an Imi player, not really as much of a Luna player, but seeing that Luna go crazy in the last map, I'm a believer now in the Dave Luna. And now Dave getting that comfort pick. I mean, this just looks like a game of comfort picks, right? Alphamy getting the Zentaro, Twisty getting the Kazan, Luke getting the Rune. I'm pretty sure I've seen Luke's Rune quite a bit, even before Rune was like the quote-unquote meta pick in a way. So everyone kind of on comfort here, and it's battle of the comfort picks in this. But I think the creation team is going to have a little bit harder time on the early onset against the speed. But we'll see which team can scale as the Awakenings come into play.
If there's one member of the team that might not be struggling, it's probably Twisty, right? Has leveled up past level 2, so does have both forms of the Kazan. And forget about Twisty for now. A good elusive by Fireman prevents him from getting banished, passing the rune check here as Alphamy and J-Man push forward, trying to get the barrage, trying to find some offense, but just wide. They do have 2 barriers still, though, and a great pillar off by Luke will send it away. A core stop by Alphamy for the moment, trying to find an offensive opportunity to the bottom side. A flip to the top side from J-Man will send us to a 0.5, and how many 0.5s have we had in this series so far?
I think at least 4. I want to say 5, but I think 4 is a safer bet. Just a lot, Saya. And that one was a pixel away from being blocked by that Imi turret shot. But J-Man, knowing the timing for it, having played Imi a fair bit themselves, means that they're able to get this. And these passing plays through the portal, using the speed, using the positioning, means that they get both barriers here against this Rune, who would much rather have a barrier to protect than a giant open net with these tiny pillars. And a Strike War win with a slow Rune means that Flying Blabos take the first set here, and that's just very crucial for them. They have the opportunity to pick up these chrono boosts. They have an opportunity to deny the creations with the Now. The Kai is first, though, and we'll see what's here. And there it is, all the creation trainings. I'm curious if J-Man's going to go for a creation deny, a double creation deny against Now. Nope, opts for the speed.
Yeah, well, they kind of can't, you know, like, because it would deny Now. It would be really, really awkward here. But the Now doesn't even choose to go for the creations. Extra Special is actually the pick of choice, denying the Imi. But Team Player was so valuable in the previous game, and I think it will continue to be valuable in this one. As I think the Rose Petals, not too sad with that draft, of course. J-Man getting speed is scary, Alphamy getting size is scary. But there's a lot of upside here for the Rose Petals.
A lot of upside, and I don't disagree with that now pick, just because Firemiden doesn't really like use the creations like most other now players. He much prefers to have the repositioning power of both the secondary and the healing ultimate to reposition basically at will, and using that Happy Star means that reposition happens. And look at that. That's the Normscue's Demon synergy right there. Already knowing that that pass was coming their way, immediately runs through the portal to pick it up and get that barrier.
Oh, but that banish with the strike shot reaching just far enough to take both off the table. Alphamy, good elusive, and all the healing in the world pours down as Alphamy survives the onslaught of what seems like every single ability from the Rose Petals. They still got to save it on the defense, though, as the pillar sends it back around. Still saved, still flipped forward by Alphamy this time, trying to find an opportunity on the top side, but that pillar is a little bit timeless. And J-Man still defending it, but it's so tough as a flip sends it to the other side. Twisty can't quite get the strike on it. A flip by Dave, blocked away for the moment by Fireman, but it's only a moment.
Wow, what crazy game sense there from Twisty to realize, to not only realize that Dave was going to shoot it at the now there, but also realize that the now was going to clear up instead of down. And just covering basically every up clear from now means that it didn't matter where Fireman was going to hit that. It was Twisty's goal to score.
That pillar's being such a big threat in the midfield there. If Luke can get pillars like that, if Luke can block like that, this time with the secondary, but that guy has no cooldowns left, and both barriers fall. A rune with no pillars. Not the strongest character by any means. One barrier still taken by Twisty, and Alphamy can't quite get possession. To the top side it goes, but a good strike war by Luke. J-Man now threatening, trying to find an opportunity, using the secondary from Fireman to great effect to keep possession up, but the banish on Alphamy will stop the offense for a little while longer, and Twisty goes for a dribble, but the drone disappears right when Luke least expects it.
The unseen drone is the deadliest, but in this case the seen drone is the deadliest as it disappears at the last possible second and gets them a goal. Wow, what a crazy time. This rune has been eating really well. The rune from Luke, getting this timeless early on top of the hot shot means the defense is coming, but the adjustments here from Alphamy and from Firemiden to try and get around these, look at that, perfect strike into the tip to get that last barrier. And Alphamy's been going for more denies onto the rune pillar placements, means that it's going to be a little harder for Luke to keep that defense going, despite having what seems like a god rune setup.
Awkward defense on the top side. Luke trying to defend now, but once again, the open net's a dangerous place to be for this rune. A perfect pass up from J-Man. Good patience from Alphamy, but so far they haven't gotten a solid offensive presence. The second strike defended away by the flip, and a great kick up from J-Man to try and stop it now, but the timeless pillar makes a reappearance, and once again Alphamy challenging Luke here, trying to find an opportunity, and will find a late strike to beat both Luke and Dave. A big lead for the Flying Blobos if they can convert the next point here. A big opportunity to really take over this game.
And an unfortunate miss glitch pop to try and keep the core out of Alphamy's hands, misses it, and so it actually delays Alphamy to the point where the strike afterward is perfect. Didn't even have to think about that timing when the timing was thought of for you using that glitch pop delay. But one thing that's going on really well right now is Flying Blobos is just absolutely, especially Firemiden, is just absolutely taking advantage of these portals to keep it out of Dave's hands and thus Twisty's. And this play has been showing absolute dominance for them so far.
They do lose two barriers, but Alphamy will return the favor and maintain possession with the now drone as well on the top side. J-Man barraging it in. Perfect coverage. A great read on the clear that would be made, and J-Man capping off a great set for the Flying Blobos and big opportunities heading into a potential final set.
This is starting to look rather done and dusted at this point, Saya. This is Flying Blobos' pick, and I do know that J-Man and Firemiden love this map. Absolutely love this map.
Wait a second, though. That's a cast the last timeless rune. And there's
but
anything,
it's a perfect form Zentaro, too.
Yeah, but if there's anything that could turn it around, it's cast the last on this rune, I think. Every other pick is just extra here. I think the first two picks are the stars of the show.
I'm a little surprised by the Deadeye over the 1-2 onto Dave, but I think they're just trying to get more pressure on to the team.
Let's be clear. Deadeye is just, I need this. So,
Over 1-2 though?
yes.
I mean, 1-2's not as strong for Imi, but I think 1-2's just so strong that you just always pick it, no?
No. The only situation where you pick 1-2 is for really abusing team player speed, but I don't think they're going to go for that here. I think they're just going for damage because they just took that Zentaro off the map. Alphamy just died, and a lot of that's
Yeah.
the power of the Deadeye.
True, Deadeye is an awakening that exists, unfortunately, in John Odyssey's Omega Strikers. But Barrier coming down now for Twisty means double open net. And is it Speed versus Awaken versus Creations? And unfortunately, Fireman did not see the pillar there means it goes right back in their face, and nobody expected that except maybe Luke.
And Luke, knowing what to do, places the pillar to block off the portal plays because Fireman has been loving the portals like you mentioned, but a big banish. Oh, no, J-Man runs in to try and help out, gets taken out in the process, and with the goalie gone, it's going to be a tough defense for Flying Blobos. It's looking so dire here, as maybe the cast last was the difference. Alphamy, perfect form is great and all, but hasn't been able to find too much value with it.
Not too much value, but I mean, I think, like you said, the value here right now is this Deadeye. Holy crap, I guess I wasn't as much of a Deadeye believer as I thought, because this Deadeye has been proving dividends, getting that glitch pop KO onto J-Man, but a great save there. What a parry from Luke. Saves the barrier, but a wait from J-Man means the barrier's gone anyway. And now the portal plays coming back into play with the pillar there and a flip. Wow, pixel perfect flip. Catches J-Man sleeping basically, having already used the strike, and gets the goal there. That was a crazy point. I couldn't even keep up.
Oh, and once again, Fire Madden playing around these portals so well, but just not expecting the rune pillars. Luke doing so well to interrupt those portal plays, and I think that's the adaptation that the Rose Petals have made that's really shutting down the Flying Blobos here.
Yeah, the portal play really benefits the team that can go faster. Blinks are great and all, but they don't help you keep up with the portals. As we see Alphamy actually trying to just bully this rune right now. You know, who needs to deal with Creation goalie when you can just KO the Creation goalie? And Perfect Form Zentaro is the perfect man for the job. And great strike reaction there from Alphamy. And just a perfect setup. Run back, grab the strike as it exits. J-Man with the score there to keep them in this set and threaten to take it 3-0.
Well, it looks like Dave's damage is a big factor, but so is Alphamy's. If they just kill the goalie, like you said, no creations to deal with in that case. They might be going for it again here because perfect form. No, just raw strikes from Alphamy. Almost gets the entire goal as J-Man barrages it in. Beats Dave in the 1v1. And Flying Blobos. They look down, they looked out, but they make a quick adaptation and they're at match point.
Yeah, I will say that when those pillars are down and that core gets into the hands of a J-Man that's currently using secondary, it's about done and dusted, it feels like. But a great double barrier just, again, off raw strikes. I mean, this is just strike warring at its finest from both brawlers right now. Means that they threaten to take this set and keep Rose Petals' threats alive and just keep them alive in this set and series.
Yeah, Rose Petals currently 1-0 up, so not a bust win, but they really would not want to lose here. I think Flying Blob is looking so confident on the map that they're comfortable in. Not too confident in that one, but they still managed to defend. They still managed to keep this set going here. A flip by Dave, a good defense by Fireman, and Twisty pushing forward, trying to win the interactions here as Alphamy tries to send it away, and Dave, you could blast it a little bit off there as Twisty goes in with the layered pressure, but it's defended once again by J-Man, and this time the pillar backfires. Core caught for a moment by Alphamy as Dave tries to rocket it forward. A good save by Twisty on the clear by J-Man, and will find the goal, will keep Rose in this game, will keep Rose's chances at a 2-0 alive here.
Twisty playing a bullet hell with that core there, going literally in between the bullets of Kai's barrage primary and finding that goal through the hook and through the extra strike gain from the hook. And now kind of pick of the litter here. Both sides Awakenings, rapid fire, couple sparks, unstoppable, stacks on stacks. This is just take bits and go next draft, it feels like. Especially with this rapid fire.
Yeah, rapid fire, good deny away, because if Rune got that rapid fire hotshot, timeless cast last, that would be an absolute nightmare to deal with. Instead, it's taken away by the Nav, who has made good use of the primary as well. And I think Flying Blobos, they still have what it takes, but once again, it's so scary that now that the Rose Petals have also picked up speed of their own.
Uh-oh, that's coming back at them.
Oh no. It drifts a little bit to the wrong side, and now the Rose Petals, two barriers down, they're in a bit of trouble here.
A bit of trouble, and especially because if we look at J-Man's build, this is the J-Man special. 3 Dash Awakenings on an eject button Kai. This man is about to run across the entirety of the room, but what a pillar! What a pillar spot from Luke there to save that what looked to be inevitable goal. And with this hot shot, this rune is just still a monster, even with nothing to defend but an open net.
Banish goes wide, Fireman and Alpha Me pushing forward, but there's a pillar in their face, trying to stall it out, trying to go through the front door right now, but unfortunately Luke has locked it. And J-Man though, 3 million speed to work with. Oh, just has to retreat for now, can't quite get it this time.
Ooh, Dave almost had it with the glitch pop there, but it doesn't matter because Twisty wins the strike war. I'm not even sure if that was necessarily a strike war. I don't think J-Man actually struck it, but it didn't matter. Securing the goal anyway, having that brawler mindset of just, I need to win the strike war and be in the right place at the right time in front of the goalie, secures them that first point.
A lot of resources available though, a lot of meter as one barrier goes down, but they don't choose to flip there. A banish is huge onto Alpha Me to stop the momentum, and Twisty ping KO them, wants to target Alpha Me perhaps. Big opportunity, but a strike shot from Luke across the map, stuffs out the flip, finds the barrier, finds everything here as once again the pillar on the portal makes it so that the offense just halts for the Flying Blobos.
The offense halts for the Flying Blobos, but they still have it going forward. I mean, just into the hands of Alpha Me over and over and over, and eventually this perfect form against Zentaro is just going to have more cooldowns than you to shove it past your face. And unfortunately, a flip in the face of a team that had nothing but cooldowns means this point, but it doesn't matter. J-Man a little bit impatient. Twisty, realizing that J-Man had to strike there, just casually backs up and takes that strike war win to secure them 2 points in this set.
That's a little bit tough because the game, it might be slipping away from Flying Blobos. They look so good taking 2 sets early. But I think Luke and Dave have scaled, and Twisty's always been a bit of a scoring menace here. J-Man and Alpha Me trying to turn their fate around with a push to the top side, but it's not quite enough. Twisty finding a barrier now, looking for the goal, looking for a strike win. Oh, really good clear by Fireman, but the pillar in the perfect spot once again. The hotshot speed helping out as well, as Luke will send us to a 5th set. Something that would be really unthinkable in the middle of this game. Rose Petals bouncing back, but Flying Blobos now in a ton of trouble.
It might be time for the quad speed Kai. Saya. I think it's time for the quad speed Kai.
Is it time?
Is it time? It might be Twin Drive,
okay,
though.
well,
yeah, I think it's Twin Drive. That would have been crazy from J-Man to get the quad speed here. Fighter Flight, though, on this Kazan, had Fighter Flight last game as well, and took a major advantage of it. Fighter Flight and both Energy Awakenings going to the side of Rose Petals. I think this draft is just as good for them as it is for everyone else, even with this Zentaro finally getting the Dash Awakening at the end of the day.
Oh, that's a lot of damage, but the glitch pop actually doesn't connect from Dave. That would have been even more and potentially a KO there, but it's just Twisty winning the strike wars. The Fighter Flight lets Twisty solo win this game, perhaps in the right spots, and oh no, the secondary not quite in time to deflect the strike from Twisty. And once again, it's the brawler of the Rose Petals getting it done.
Yeah, we were talking about how Flying Blobos loves their speed, but right now, if we look at the Awakenings at the end of this set 5 game, Kazan has Fighter Flight, Stagger Swagger, and Peak Performance, speed. Aimee has Stagger Swagger, stacks on stack, speed. So they're able to keep up, even while being on these slower characters with not as many speed options. And Twisty is just going nuts with his speed and size.
That's a KO found on today, but it's Twisty with the size this time and the speed to follow it up, of course. 2-0 now for the Rose Petals, 1 goal away from closing out this series. Tough spot for the Flying Blobos, but it's tough.
It's tough because the thing that makes Kai strong is his ability to cover a bunch of things, but he doesn't have the primetime rapid fire that he would normally like to have defensively. So realistically, the team of Flying Blobos is almost entirely all offense. And this rune is just denying the offense almost solo, it feels like sometimes. And if you're not able to get offense with this team that Flying Blobos have, you don't have anything. You don't have much of a defense against this Kazan.
Trying to use the speed on the bottom side, but they can't take the barrier. Good defense from the Rose Petals with the strike discipline. Alphamy playing the top side now, but the pillars are forming. And they're trying to rotate to the other end, but it's not quite enough as Twisty now has so much presence. Dave across the map, willing to burn cooldowns for the defense here as J-Man finally takes the barrier. Fireman and Flip available, trying to set it up for Alphamy here, but Twisty's helping out. They're preventing it from happening. The flip wasted as well, and Dave has a flip of their own, pushing up, but Giga blasted off the map. Maybe a chance as J-Man rushing forward to try to find a pass to Alphamy, and the primary will do it. The slice and dice lined up somehow. And the Flying Blobos not out of it just yet.
All of that on the back of a pillar, too. The secondary into the pillar leads to the pass from J-Man, but the pass misses, hits off the pillar into the primary that Alphamy was setting up for the initial pass. Just a really unfortunate series of events, but it doesn't matter. Double barriers now for this giant Kazan off the back of Aimee as well. J-Man trying to make something happen, but it's just not enough. No eject button now, no secondary available against a flip Kazan. Wins the strike war using the Giga Blast, and unfortunately that is a dead now on a 0.5 or 0.4 situation, using the flip to get there, but not able to make it work, and just a no-win scenario right here. Yeah, just that was basically the most the most savable goal, Saya, as Kazan had 3 opportunities with the flip right in front of a Kai that had no cooldowns.
That's tough. They were really going all out to try and turn the game around, but in the end, the Rose Petals hold on, keep a barrier alive, and like you said, create an unwinnable situation with the 1v1, with Twisty having all the resources in the world. It was close. Flying Blobos almost had them. And once again, it was 2 set 5 games, right? But in the end, the Rose Petals hang on.
Yeah, and these stats are like, once again, a Twisty sweep. I mean, 9 goals is just crazy. On top of having 163 redirects on the brawler is just crazy. I mean, Kazan, one of those redirect brawlers, but still. But these redirects really speak to kind of what was going on in the game, because the defense on the side of Rose Petals was so much easier once they were able to just get that double bis onto Rune. They were able to get the hot shot and the timeless, and that really started feeling like almost an inevitability of the end of the offense for the side of Flying Blobos. So the Flying Blobos were able to make it work in later sets, but it eventually just proved too much once the adjustment was made from Rose to deny the portal play, to gain speed through awakenings, to try and match that speed. And then once that defense was in order, and the pure offensive side of Flying Blobos was kind of running out of steam, it almost felt like an inevitability towards the end of it.
Well, with that, we're going to head to a bit of a short break before our next series. It's going to be Pass versus Ember, and that's going to be a good one. Ember's Flame, a bit of a unfortunate record, trying to turn their fates as they continue on in the season. Pass, on the other hand, 2-1, maybe pushing forward. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon. Hello everyone and welcome back to NASA. I'm here with Sloth and we're here to watch Pass and Ember. And Pass is looking a little different, right? A lot of substitutes coming in as we head on to AtLab on our first game.
Yeah, quite a few coming in, right? We still have Coin playing as he is part of the main roster, but we have Winter Freezer and a Blank coming into play for them. So gonna be curious to see how well they're gonna be performing today, right? It is a arguably pretty important matchup for both of these teams, both of them doing pretty well and competing to be within the top of NASA, right? So having a match like this, we feel that with subs can always be a bit scary, but I'm sure we're in for a great show either way today.
As we head on into the game, it's a rapid fire timeless start. Everyone going rapid fire. Not too surprising given the picks that were made here. Jay getting the former One Trick, the Juno, a character that they're very comfortable with, and Wisp getting the Aimi, a character that is Jay's other best character. So the draft kind of being left wide open for Ember, it feels like here.
Yeah, most definitely. They get all the prize that they want, and they also get characters that really work well with rapid fire. Now, everyone kind of works well with rapid fire, but I feel like especially characters like Juno and the Amy have so much more extra value to those picks when they do get that cooldown reduction on that primary. But you can already see the value from those picks coming out as Zerd finds the first goal of this game as well.
And I think the drafting strategy was pretty clear from the side of Pass. They ban away the Mako, they pick away the Atlas, they're targeting Wisp here. They're saying, we think that the goalie will be the difference maker here. But right now, Wisp's not even needing to play the game. It's Mr. Zerd and Jay keeping it up, taking 2 barriers and scoring 2 goals in a row.
Yeah, Wisp being pretty confident and happy with those target bans and picks. Because if your forward's already taking care of the entire core, there's nothing really to worry about. Nevertheless, though, I still feel like Amy is a beautifully strong pick on a map like AtLab, because the turret has so much value. The glitch pops can interrupt basically any kind of play, not to mention the cyber swipe as well, that can reach basically the entire map and just create some extra aggression. As we can see right now, as Wisp jumps up, not even needed here though, just being a very strong presence as Zerd finds a quick and nice strike into the net, and that was... How long was this set?
Might have been the fastest set in league history. That was ridiculous. And now, taking a look at the draft, what picks do you think will be prioritized here? Of course, Firefly and Primetime are what my eyes are drawn to immediately.
Yeah, most definitely. Primetime together with that Rapid Fire is going to make sure you have that primary basically whenever you want it. And Fighter Flight giving that much needed mobility. I'm a bit surprised that an extra special is being picked up by the Atlas here. I don't think they're going to run into issues of KOs, at least as of right now. But other than that, Chrono Boost Kai, Egoist on Juno, and Unstoppable on Erasmus, I think those are all pretty expected and also pretty good for the individual characters.
Oh, early barrier take here as Blank with the barrage barely gets it around, finds the barriers, and maybe their fates are turning around. Maybe Pass has it back in to maybe turn this game around, but it's going to be tough because Wisp has set down a Firewall Sentry to lock down the bottom wall. No dribbling plays out of there, and Mr. Zert and Jay are approaching McCoin, getting it out of there. The center blowing it up as well, but Blank is low. Didn't get healed enough, but Mr. Zert also getting targeted here. A potential KO could swing this game completely around, and Coin gets one first onto Jay.
They do find the KO, and now they're going to try to make the power play work as they're running up, and Blank finds the strike through Wisp there. I feel like the start of that set, again, was another statement goal as well, right? The double barrier started pretty fast on the side of Wisp. Was Pass trying to make a point and saying, hey, look, we're still... Maybe the first set wasn't that great, but we're here to compete, we're here to win. And then able to find the goal in the end is obviously huge value for them.
Mr. Zert, though, continuing to push forward with the Kazan offense. Plenty of abilities to try and stuff it through as Jay finds a really calm passing play, but a good strike war win by Winter Freezer will get it out of there for the time being. Mr. Zert now trying to 1v1 in the bottom corner yet again, but Blank barrages it forward. Oh, still an awkward midfield play by Pass. They can't get a good strike onto the barriers. It feels like as Jay's helping out on the defense as well.
Yeah, the side of Ember's Flame is doing a really good job striking properly there, denying any kind of proper attack, as Blank now also gets rather low. Does have 3 of 8s to his name, that end up using one, but Zerd patiently waits it out, finds the KO, as his barrier does drop on the side of Ember's Flame, but the power play is still very much alive. Jay running up with the blobs, Winter Freezer has to use Flip here to defend it, but an Amy turret coming in as well to add on the force. Winter Freezer finds a clear towards the bottom, but Zerd still very much up front, but a huge KO on Wisp there for the power play for the side of Pass now. Can they actually find a second goal here, though? Jade is used to use the Flip as well, but Coin denies the clear pretty swiftly and hits it right past Jay.
Oh no. Out of all the random times to get knocked off the map, I don't think anyone expected Wisp to go down on the offense there. It was a good try too, right? Wisp was trying to help secure the goal, but a bit of catastrophe for Ember's Flame, as now Pass are in the lead quite a lot.
Yeah, a 2-0 lead obviously is massive for them, but although you do have to keep in mind that they are making up a 1-0 deficit in sets, but Coin with a beautiful strike in between both of the barriers is going to be able to find both of them, but immediately returned by Zerd to just answer that, as we're now playing open goal versus open goal. It is still very dangerous though for the side of Ember's Flame, as Coin has Flip soon, which he will obviously be able to make use of against Wisp, trying to set up, trying to get that pendulum swing to get it past Wisp, but not quite able to find the angle just yet.
And a crucial slime by Jay prevents a goal from Coin. That would have been a textbook Rasmus goal if it hadn't happened. And a perfect glitch pop. Wisp on the offense, looking good, maintains a flip as well, and the energy is high. Wisp and Jay looking for flips, but all 3 members of Pass on flips themselves.
Yeah, and they gotta make use of those flips, right? If they can use 1 or 2 flips to get both of the barriers and then follow it up with a score, that'd be perfect. But instead, they have to use it on the defensive end to get both their barriers taken, and Wisp with a beautiful attack on that Amy, jumping up front, using the flip to score it himself, as we're now back into a 2-2.
The offensive plays from Wisp are looking good so far, but they've got to keep with the defense as well. A flip burn for 1 barrier is a little bit of a rough trade, I think. They would have liked to get a little bit more off of that, but Pass has just got to take what they can get, because the game might be slipping away from them. But Winter Freezer, a strike shot forward, putting pressure onto Wisp. A flip forced out, but a flip gets a KO. That's Blank going down, and an awkward defense here for Winter Freezer as both barriers fall.
Both barriers down, open the goal situation now, and power play from the side of Ember's Flame again. Blank is back on the field now. Is he going to be able to make a difference though or not? They're trying to dash forward, not quite able to find the hook. But Jay shuts down the clear from Blank pretty easily there, jumps in the way and puts it into the net to take the second set in favor of Ember's Flame.
Mr. Zerd, MVP once again. Plenty of Great Awakening is going to come on the board here now. And that's a lot of Dash Awakenings on the board, a lot of range extenders, and of course the damage potential with the Deadeye on the board as well for the Aimi perhaps.
Yeah, most definitely. I do wonder though what the Amy is going to opt for. The hot shot being picked up, not trying to have that go down to the Juno. Juno likely going for a dash extender then.
Wait.
No, the team player.
Wait a second. Am I... what?
Yeah, I'm not sure I follow fully, right? Because my gut feeling would be at this point to try to have the hotshot go all the way down to J. Maybe there's a miscommunication there. Maybe it's just a different kind of priorities being set. But Pass doesn't really care about that draft, as they're immediately running into the next barrier, trying to get the aggression going immediately. Blank needs to be a bit careful, though, taking a lot of damage. The Atlas Ultimate coming out to save him, though.
Oh, yeah, a bit of a miscommunication, it feels like, because Jay was question marking Wisp quite a bit there. A bit of clutter in the voice comms perhaps, but right now they're still looking stable with 1 barrier alive and pushing forward to try and get some more. Jay will earn the top one, and Mr. Zert's approaching for another. Blank being brought very low, and the damage pressure has been such a factor in this game, but Coin will take the barrier and give the side of Pass a chance to take this one.
Yeah, Blank really just feeling the downsides of that Kai pick, right? Being so frail compared to other characters. That gets saved by the Atlas Ultimate there, luckily, as they're now trying to set up for another attack here. Zert getting rather low, almost down to 1 HP as well. Wisp has to use the flip here to defend.
Mr. Zert looking for an opportunity in overtime. Brought low though, a KO onto the Brawler would be huge here, as the core speed's getting quite quick as Coin sends it forward. A KO found by the goalie, Winter Freezer, taking out Mr. Zert, as Blank A calm strike to the top side, unfazed by the speed, and a 1-0 lead in this set, but still a 2-0 set deficit for the side of Pass.
Yeah, and the second set started the exact same way, right? Pass actually ended up going up 2-0, but weren't able to actually find that third goal. So still a lot of work left to be done, but they do immediately find 2 barriers. Coin uses the flip to take it, and now we're in an open net situation again.
Blank with a good dribble on the bottom side. Jay with a flip available, but forced to rotate back. And this time Coin is the one taking a ton of damage, but Winter Freezer should have a revive ready. A lot of healing as well. Coin staying alive for the moment, but the timing's a little awkward because Coin's just going to get chipped down. And it is looking incredibly low as Mr. Zerd plays some solo offense. Jay with the flip available as well, trying to pressure the top side. Mr. Zerd just blocking away the flip with a strike, and Coin flipped off the map. Winter Freezer making the save, but it's a power play for the side of Ember's Flame.
You're going to have to try to get a good setup going here. If you're just trying to run into the Atlas, you're going to have a pretty bad time with the Solar Expanses, with those primaries as well. They're able to hold on long enough. We're going to be back on the field now. Dunabob's also in the play, but not able to quite do what they need to. But a quick red core sneaks its way past the defensive pass there to even out this set.
Oh, and that's a little bit awkward. That's not the type of goal you want to see go in as the set is evened up. And Mr. Zerd and Wisp, scary flips on the board here as Mr. Zerd starts off with some really early offense. I think the big factor really is if they can put damage on Mr. Zerd, because you know the damage is going to be coming out from the side of Ember with the IME in particular. If they can chip down Mr. Zerd and maybe get a trade KO back, that would be the best outcome for the side of Pass.
Definitely be the best outcome, but not going to be an easy task because you're playing an Atlas Kai Rasmus, right? You're not necessarily going to be having a lot of damage output. Now, whereas it is possible as they're doing it right now, they're coordinating their abilities pretty well. It's still going to be a bit difficult to then find the confirm on that kill, especially because the best confirm that you do have is the Rasmus hook and maybe the Kai Barrage, and Coin right now fighting for his own life, trying to make sure that he's not the one that gets KO'd here.
Oh, but he indeed is the one who goes down instead, and Mr. Zerd has regened all the way back. Jay with a primary to find the kill, a flip for good measure, and Winter Freezer. Uh-oh, a bit of an awkward offense here from Ember's Flame as the respawns come in now. And Coin takes a barrier. Ember's Flame misplay the power play. The 1v3 situation finds nothing. And now it is Pass's turn to try and find some offense.
They do have the momentum that they need. A lot of abilities are on cooldown on the side from Ember's Flame, but are they going to be able to really get an attack going as Zerd is doing such a good job just shutting down any kind of forward movement from the core there. Blank down to half HP needs to be a bit worried as well because again the damage output can come by so fast, but the primary still catches the core from Winter Freezer there and bounces it directly into the goal of Ember's Flame as Pass is now 1 goal away from taking their first sets. But again, we've been here before.
Yeah, Ember's Flame has managed it before, and Wisp is standing still. Did something happen network-wise? Well, it looks like we're going to a bit of a pause. Both teams aware, and we're waiting. As the game state, though, I think still in the favor of Ember's Flame for this point, at the very least, right? That flip available on Wisp is important defensive insurance and offensive potential. On the other end, a lot of meter was burned by the side of Pass on the other end.
Yeah, most definitely, especially considering the fact that Wisp, once he is back, is going to be able to just pick up that orb to instantly get the flip. And I feel like as well, just awakening-wise, right? You do have the hot shots, the rapid fire, the team player on the Juno, basically primaries every 2 seconds on Zerts, together with the fact that he also has a fully stacked stacks on stacks. I feel like the gameplay is just going to start getting a bit too fast for the side of Pass to handle. Especially as we're going to slowly go into overtime here, sadly. So it's really not going to help their case to try to defend against this Amy Juno.
Just asking for what updates on what's going on here. Oh, okay. Oh, it looks like we're back. All good. And with it being overtime now, it's also a game state that's going to be really favorable for 2 characters. The Juno and the Atlas, right?
Yes, insanely, right? They thrive when core goes fast, especially together with the extra power that they can bring, right? Having red core on basically all of their abilities just makes them so much more useful compared to other picks here, as the core bounces around, sneaks its way through basically everyone. Wisps does have to use Flip there, tries to get an attack going, not quite able to take the barrier though. Winter Freezer doing a good job defending, and Blank finding a huge Giga Blast to get a KO. As we're now in a power play situation for the side of Pass, they need to find this barrier very, very quick here before Zert is back on field. Zert is coming back up though with a beautiful glitch pop from Wisp. Will take that second barrier though.
Shot to the top side now, Mr. Zert. Oh, sends it right to Miss Winter Freezer's face. You have to think that there was a shot there, but it's still an open net, a big opportunity in overtime as the core goes around the world, but not quite enough. Blank taking a ton of damage and doesn't catch the core with the flip. Needs to run away, needs to stay safe as Coin pushes forward now, but the flip goes wide a little bit early. But Coin will still rocket the core forward, will still take the barrier, and Blank will flip it in. A pass hold on just enough to find the set and bring themselves back into the game.
Yeah, and it's going to help them so much as well in terms of Awakenings. Blank has a single Spark already. Maybe there's going to be another pickup for him so he can start stacking here. You do have the Spark of Resilience, but I feel like you're looking at some of the other Awakenings here as well, like the Peak Performance, like the Knife's Edge. Timeless likely going to go towards the hands of Winter Freezer here as well.
Yeah, my eyes are a little bit on that Peak Performance. It's going to be useful, but it's a Spark instead. The additional stagger going to be so valuable when everyone is flying off the map. And Big Fish, perhaps the pickup for this Rasmus. A little bit of stagger does help in the survivability. And both brawlers getting size will help with their scoring ability. It's going to be an interesting one in the next set, but I think my eyes are on that Knife's Edge from Jay. The additional speed will help out the Slimes and additional power as well. So we might see some Slimes racing to catch the core.
Well, definitely, they're gonna go really quick trying to get themselves set up properly. I do feel like, though, the side of Ember's Flame needs to find the win in this set, because if they're not able to and they are going into a set 5, it's likely that Blank will be able to find another Spark, and at that point, it's going to be so difficult for them to play against a triple Spark Kai. So they need to try to do everything they can just to use their abilities to get the Strike War wins, to finish the game here. Otherwise, they're putting themselves up for quite the challenge.
Mrs. Zert trying to do just that, but a horizontal dribble barrage from Blank just stops the core in its tracks, finds the clear, finds a save, and now Coin in a bit of trouble, taking a lot of damage, but does have a little bit more stagger to work with. Needs to get out of the center area though, and Blank, of course, way tankier than before. Trying to find a dribble is Coin, looking for an opportunity, but it's actually a combo from Jay, taking out the brawler of Pass, and the core speed now picking up. A bit of a threat on the other end. The open net could be under a bit of danger if Winter Freezer can get a good primary here.
Most definitely, Winter Freezer being able to hold on to that barrier though for Coin to be back. Coin almost immediately tries to get an attack going, but an unfortunate bounce around the expands will take the second barrier as well. Zert needs to be careful, but no, he does not, as Winter Freezer does not hit the primary just right, and the core bounces into the goal. That's not what you want to see.
Yeah, well, as we head to another point, it's still Ember's Flame favored, right? They have the meter available. And, of course, if they can get points like that, it's so good. Mrs. Zert find the fake out. Trying to go for a second barrier is Jay. Unsuccessful as now Coin pushes forward, but can't find one barrier on the bottom side as both go down. Big opportunity for Ember's Flame, defended away by Winter Freezer. But they have an open net on the other side. They have a power play on their hands, and they're looking for a clean closeout to this point, and Jay will strike it in.
Yeah, really well executed, right? Seeing that positioning mistake from Coin, taking him out for free, essentially, and then just moving up S3, Wisp using that eject button excellently as well, just to get even more pressure going. They're now one goal away from taking this game 1, and it's looking rather difficult for the side of Pass to end up playing this out. They do have 2 flips to their name, one being used from Blank now. Are they going to be able to get the second barrier here? Not quite yet.
And a good slime by Jay will keep up the offense for Ember's Flame. Even up the barrier count, a missed strike by Winter Freezer could be devastating. Ember's Flame, 1 goal away from closing this one out. Can't quite get it just yet as Coin pushes forward with Blank, trying to find a dribbling play, trying to find some offense, but Mr. Zert interrupts, and Wisp is pushing forward. Can't quite get the Cypher Swipe to close it out, but it's still Ember's Flame in control. Jay with the flip available, Mr. Zert pushing forward, the flip not chosen to be used just yet, as Jay in the midfield trying to find the perfect opportunity. Really awkward with the Slimes, the defense really under threat, and finally the Firewall Sentry will close it out. Ember's Flame will take the first game.
Yeah, Winter Freezer there being a bit too greedy at the end, opting to not use the flip, and that's gonna cost you game 1. Overall, though, I feel like Ember's Flame had just they had a better draft off the get-go, and they had a better game plan. They executed upon it, so I feel like overall it was still very much it was very much a deserving win. I feel like they just played towards the win con a lot better and a lot more clear than what the side of Pass was able to bring on their feet.
Yeah, but I think that we could look towards the next game with a bit of a bright outlook for Pass because they had individual outplays, right? Pass had a lot of individual one-on-one plays where they just looked better in the moment. And I think on a map like Gates of Obscura, I think that Pass picked it. So if you're confident on Gates, you'll probably do quite well against a team that is not confident on Gates. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, Gates has a very unique play style to it, right? These portals, they change the game up quite a bit, and just being good at utilizing these portals to maximum capacity already gives you such a big upper hand compared to teams that aren't quite as proficient with it. And I would be led to believe, as you said, that with it being Pass's pick, that they probably have a strong game plan going into that map, as they do look like they need to get their plans rolling to try to contest this reverse sweep from here on out.
Yeah, and with Ember's Flame on blue side, the draft going to be generated shortly. What do you think will be the goalie picks? Because generally, right, melee goalies are often seen on Gates of Obscura, but do you think there's going to be anything a little different?
It's very Awakening dependent, I feel like. There are some angles where you can opt into some eject button goalies, maybe, or maybe an Estelle goalie of sort. But I do feel like it's very likely that we're going to see the more standardized defensive goalies, like the Makos, like the Atlas, or stuff like that, just being put out as it's just more consistent, right? And we do have our Awakenings now. We have the build different and the cast to last. I do wonder if the Cast to last is enough of a reason for someone to maybe start cooking with a Rune pick in goal or maybe in midfield, but I'm not quite fully certain on the proficiency on that character.
Yeah, we saw Rune earlier in the first series in the goal box coming out from Luke in a win for Rose on Gates of Obscura. And if there's one thing that pick can do, it is scale, right? Even if you're struggling in the early game, as long as you make it to some of those later sets, eventually, as long as you don't get completely unlucky in draft, you'll become a bit of a menace.
Most definitely. I do feel like even if it's not going to be in net, I feel like Rune is also just a really strong pick on a map like Gates because he can just completely shut down a corner or completely shut down a portal as well if you need to be. So it's a bit difficult to deal with him. But another character that is very difficult to deal with is that Asher pick, and that Asher pick was banned out from the side of Ember's Flame here as well. Makes a lot of sense to me. If you're not opting to first pick that, you probably don't want to be giving that as a 2-3 to the side of Pass.
These goalie bans, though, well, not goalie bans necessarily, but these particular bans leave Jay's character pool wide open in terms of free picks. But I think it's going to be a goalie pick for Ember immediately. Their first pick, their blue side, and I think they want to lock in a comfortable melee goalie early for Wisp. It's the Imi, though, which is ambiguous. It could be a flex pick, it could be the goalie, it could be the midfielder, but it's probably the midfield here.
Yeah, it seems the most likely with these Awakening sets. Eject goalies are still playable, obviously, but they are a bit more difficult to execute as you just don't really have anything that helps you with cooldown or with range that really can make your life easier going up against force forwards. So I feel like it is likely going to be the midfield. I do wonder why they didn't opt to go for a lockdown goalie pick for themselves, as with both the bands, essentially that kind of archetype of character has been dwindled down a bit, and now another pick of that sort has gone to the side of Pass as well with that Dubu pick, likely finding its way into net. Or are we Dubu forward enjoyers around NASA?
It could be. Not too bad on Gates, right? As Kazan will be the forward in this particular game, so not quite that. You know, there could have been a crazy line here for Pass. They could have gone Dubu Mako. That would have doubled. That would have really pinched Wisp's goalie pool, especially on a map like Gates. So that could have been a way that they could have gone. But instead, they're taking the Kazan, a character that Coin will be piloting quite well, and taking away from Mr. Zerd as well.
Yeah, Kazan obviously also really liking that build difference start, right? More size does wonders for that pick. So definitely a strong and solid pick to be going for. And X also being locked in now for the side of Ember's Flame. X having a lot of surprising KO value on a map like Gates. You're not really going to think of Gates as a KO map, in my opinion, but X is able to translate on that quite well. And to enable that KO, there's an Affinity pick coming in as well, likely picking up that Castellas to just debuff the enemy as long as possible and make X's life as easy as possible.
So it is indeed a non-melee goalie pick for the side of Ember here. That's very interesting, but a whole lot of damage, right? Xfinity IME might be one of the highest damage comps in the game.
Yeah, most definitely. And that is also going to get answered almost immediately with a now pick, right? Realizing, hey, we need some kind of survivability here, some kind of sustain. So locking in that now for pass there as the midfielder is going to give them a little bit of HP regeneration. And together with that Castellas, also is going to enable that Kazan much more with just pure mobility that he might not have as much of compared to without now.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how it goes. Kazan also has a lot of tools to get away, but if the damage does connect, both these characters are pretty killable. As long as they actually get hit. And the same with Dubu as well. Pretty tanky, but a big target. So if the side of Ember's Flame does continue to scale comfortably into the late game in this one, I'm a little scared for pass. Even though Gates of Obscura is their pick, I think that Ember's Flame can just do the universal strategy of enough damage.
Yeah, I feel like that's likely where it's going to go as well, right? I feel like at this point, all you would really need on that X is maybe a perfect form or something like that to just really enable that X to just maybe sit on top of the Dubu and just be a nuisance. Obviously, Dubu not necessarily known for his survivability.
Yep, and it looks like we're going to head into game any second now. Looking forward to this second game. Ember currently 1-0, trying to bring their record back to even. They're currently 1-2. I think Ember's Flame is a team that was predicted to do quite well in the season, so they've had some really rough losses so far to teams that I think everyone would have projected them beating. So they have a long road ahead of them in terms of schedule, and a win here, 2-0, would do a lot for them in terms of playoff chances.
Yeah, most definitely. Not only playoff chances, it's also about a momentum, right? Both of the losses from Ember's Flame were in week 2 and 3, so they're coming off of a 2-game loss or 2-series loss streak right now. So being able to pick up a win as important as this is obviously also going to help you set yourself up for what's to come and get the kind of confidence boost that they might be looking for.
It's a Fini goalie for Wisp here, looking for that high damage composition, and Jay has been very proficient on the IME. Once again, getting both of her picks like she did yesterday in Nassel. We'll see if history repeats itself and both those picks do win on those two separate games. Or we'll see if Pass can withstand the damage onslaught and find the core control necessary to score in this game.
Yeah, I am going to be pretty curious though how well the Fini goalie is going to be doing on Gates. I do feel like Fini overall does have a place within Gates of Obscura, but it's very dependent on how the midfield matchup is going to go. As you don't really have a wide range of defense, you can do a really good job at kind of shutting down a singular angle together with those secondaries, but you are prone to being played around still. But again, the game plan for the side of Ember's Flames isn't really play around the enemy, it's play through them, and best case scenario, take them out with the core.
Mr. Sir pushing forward, but a Tofu Fortress well timed by Winter Freezer as the big finish sends it backwards, but Wisp is very ready on the strike afterwards. And now Mr. Sir pushing in, trying to find some offense here as Jay has already built up a flip. Coin now on the top side, interrupting it and making sure that the offense doesn't go to Mr. Zert, but Mr. Zert just standing on Winter Freezer, looking for a dribbling play, interrupted for a moment, but still maintaining the possession, maintaining the dribbles all the way forward, and pushing it in. Mr. Zert had control of the core for like 10 entire seconds.
Yeah, just really having a great display of just controlling that core at the bottom and then setting himself up perfectly to get that force going through as well, right? Showing that that extra pressure that a pick like X can bring, as Wisp has a little bit of an unfortunate kickoff there, loses one barrier, but they immediately get an attack going on the other side here.
A lot of meter built up for Wisp for defensive insurance as the flip just slows down thanks to the big finish. A really good shot around Winter Freezer this time, and Wisp is waiting out the top spin. Coin and Blank pushing forward with the layered offense though, and there's not too much one single additional strike from Fini can do in that moment. The barriers go down, Mr. Zert flip available, but passing to push forward and find something in this point.
Yeah, they're trying to set himself up there for a double strike with the X Maximus, but not quite able to do so. Coin though punishing a mispositioning mistake from Wisp, as there's now the forwards, both of them are in the net. Flip is coming out from Mr. Zert. Does have enough patience to hit it straight through Blank, and Wisp is back on the field now. The man advantage has been removed now, as the second barrier drops on the side of pass as well.
A big opportunity for Coin, but can't quite get enough layers as Winter Freezer a perfect roll to make sure Mr. Zert can't close this one out, but Mr. Zert another chance, another bull rush, but just short. No dash awakening just yet, too early in the game. As Jay flip available top side, Blank strike reset from Mr. Zert will be enough. 2-0 lead for Ember's Flame, and they still have a flip on the board.
Yeah, Jay holding off from using her flip there to make sure she has it for this potentially last point if they get good value out of it. So we'll see if that's going to be worth it, or if she's not going to be able to find the angle she's really looking for. Coin almost punishing her, but not quite able to take her out. One barrier drops. The Dubu Tofu Fortress kind of coming back as an issue on Winter Freezer, as they are now trying to push through the top here. Jay still has a flip, but isn't using it just yet.
Mr. Zert now in the corner. Triple take helps out as well, popping the core up just perfectly. But Coin will be pushing up. One barrier taken, looking for two, but doesn't get the strike in. And a strike war win for Mr. Zert past Winter Freezer to take a quick 3-0 in the first set in the favor of Ember once again.
Yeah, just really well executed, and even if that strike war wasn't going to be as successful as it was, Jay was right there with the flip available as well. As we're now looking at a Super Surge pickup for Jay, obviously huge value if you're looking for a KO comp. You want to have that extra damage on that Amy secondary. Unstoppable going the way of Coin here, trying to help a little bit with survivability, and Zert trying to get the spark stacks going early.
I really like the Unstoppable pick in the Fini matchup though, right? Because Fini's big tool to try and get it past you is that primary, the short end of it. And if you end up tanking that with the Unstoppable, you're in a really good spot to score or take a barrier.
Yeah, most definitely. And also, it has some added value because the Fini goalie, with the low cooldowns that she has, even when the attack is on the enemy side, is going to use a lot of primaries just to chip away on HP bars, right? And quite often, as the brawler, you're going to be the target of that because you're just the closest, the easiest to hit. So Unstoppable also doing a lot of work for you there, just to nullify as much damage as possible, as the barrier now drops on the side of pass.
Pushing forward, our pass, trying to find some opportunities on the bottom end as a barrier is taken by a push up from Mr. Zert. Coin can't quite get the core under control as Jay sets it up for a Blank. Coin topside looking for it, but it just goes through the portal. The core slips away. Jay past to Mr. Zert. The shot missed, but I think Ember's Flame will have more opportunities in the future, or maybe not, as Coin and Blank push forward for the barrier. That miss might cost them.
Not quite able to find a goal just yet, but Wisp does have to use the flip here, tries to get an attack going. The core bouncing around a little bit awkwardly though, finding its way up to Zert again. Jay in front of goal with a flip now. The Winter Freezer using all of his abilities, but not quite able to hold on to the core as the flip goes wide as well.
They do secure it in the end, but I think Ember's Flame use much more meter than they would have liked here, as Wisp is once again taken out of commission. Well, it is what it is.
Sometimes it just do be like that. But overall though, I still feel like the side of pass has an angle to be going through, right? That now I feel like can scale, can enable Coin as much as possible if the Awakening drafts are going to go in their favor in the future. The issue is just how many more Awakening drafts are you going to have available to you, right? Because Ember's Flame are playing again in a pretty convincing manner so far. Trying to really showcase that they're not wanting this game to go past 3 sets.
Yep. Looking for some kind of opportunity are Pass. Trying to take a set back, but it's just been all Ember's Flame. Even when Pass finds the opportunities, they just don't get enough offense from them. Like, they take the barriers, they look good in the 1v1s versus the goalie, but eventually the core finds its way around and Mr. Zert and Jay convert so efficiently.
Yeah, they just do it so efficiently. There's not a lot of really like things that Winter Freezer can do against them, even on a defensive goalie like the Dubu. But now the attack is coming out from the side of Pass. Blank does use a flip for one barrier there, as they are trying to get another pass play going between Coin and Blank. Not quite able to do so though, but they do find the second barrier here, as it's now an open net situation. But the open net is not really something they're looking at right now, as Coin is desperately trying to hold on to his life right now. Blank trying to control the core, while Coin is getting taken off the map by Zert, and now the side of Ember's Flame looking to take the second barrier.
And Zert doing a little bit of dribbling of Coin there, and a flip to take it. The midfielder out as well. Blank gets flipped into the goal. Winter Freezer gets bull rushed for the goal. Mr. Zert finding another here, as Wisp and Jay maintain a lot of meter. It's another 2-0 lead for the side of Ember's Flame. A weird back pass from Wisp, but it ends up... No, it doesn't work out. It's... Okay, I think it ends up mostly working out, but it's, in the end, it's Coin and Blank who take that opportunity and run with it, and that kind of mechanical misstep is exactly what Pass needs to get back into the game.
Most definitely, they need to try to find these errors and play off of them properly, because we're now looking at a situation where both Jay and Wisp do have flips. Zert is halfway there to his own as well, and they only need one more goal for this set to already be finished. Wisp does end up using the flip here, not quite able to get the pass up front that he was looking for. Jay using the turret to deliver the core up front to Zert. Zert, although not finding the strike war wins against Winter Freezer, as the core is bouncing back and forth. It's continuously being held in the side of Ember's Flame, but even if it comes down to it, Jay does have that flip as a emergency button, essentially, just to get the core out, and she does end up using it here. It's just going to go through the portal, though, and positioning for Winter Freezer ready to immediately receive that, send it back as the second barrier drops on the side of Ember's Flame now.
Oh, but the flip not quite saving it here, as now Winter Freezer in a lot of trouble. Tofu Fortress, bit of a gap. Jay looking for a dribbling play, bottom side, looking for it, but a good flip by Blank will send it away. Mr. Zert though, low, but still pushing forward to Fireball Sentry, a bit of a threat as Jay sends it right past to Mr. Zert once again, but the strike wars are won, but the possession's not kept by Pass. Tough spot for Winter Freezer, and Mr. Zert buffering the primary is enough to take the set.
Winter Freezer with the roll there being a bit too proactive, as Zert finds the nice bell ringer to just force it right through him, and now they're one set away from taking this game as a 3-0. And to top all of that off, we're now looking at a draft where Amy has the choice between Perfect Form, Rapid Fire, Deadeye, Extra Special. There's just so much that you really do not want the KO comp to be getting, and Ember's Flames can just pick and choose. They get a Perfect Form, they get a Deadeye on the Finny, they get a second Spark on X, most likely, which is going to mean that's essentially 2 Strength Sparks as well. It's looking rather difficult. The Monumentalist finds its way onto Blank, which can make the difference, but I'm not quite sure if it's going to be enough to make up for the pure amount of damage that Ember's Flame was able to pick up this draft.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough. I don't think that's going to be the real difference maker. And Mr. Zert already taking out the now. If there's anything that might turn this game around, it's potentially the Catalyst from Coin. But the KO just comes too fast for the Catalyst to even come into effect. The flip not even built up in time. And I think we've reached the point of no return in terms of scaling. The Deadeye on the Finny, the Perfect Form on the Aimi, and of course the X sparking. I think this is enough damage for Ember's Flame to just brute force this game.
Yeah, most definitely, because you can do all the good core controlling you want in the world. If your HP bar is in the negatives, there's not a lot left to control anymore. And also, 2 flips being close now. Jay has a flip, Zert is getting close to flip, Wisp has it as well. Meanwhile, the side of Pass doesn't really have any comparable amounts of energy, because they just need to use it to evade all the time. Because if they're not evading, they're just dying. And oh, what a beautiful redirect there. Whether on purpose or not, it finds its way and sneaks it through Winter Freezer there. A rather unfortunate open form from Coin.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but you take those if you're Ember's Flame. An early barrier take. This is the one chance Pass have it. They need to take the early barriers and maybe pressure the open net. But like right here, big opportunity now. If they can find a flip, if they can find an opportunity, a flip burned by Mr. Zerd. The turret actually saves it. Uh-oh, 2 barriers still alive. And 2 barriers still alive still. Whoa, and a flip will take out Jay there as Coin and Blank look to score, but it's a Strike War win, keeping it alive for the time being. A passing play to triple take just enough. Good defense coming out as Blank just brute forces it through.
That was actually so unfortunate as Jay didn't end up dying to the flip. Jay just took a step too far back and walked into the Knight Primary, being taken off of the map. Rather unfortunate to be dying with flip like that, but again, that's just 1 goal. And Ember's Flame still has such a huge lead that if I'm them, I'm not really worried, as Zerd just cleanly takes Blank off of this map. And the Poker Fortress now being a little bit of a detriment towards Winter Freezer as well.
Coin not long for this world, somehow surviving though. Taking very little knockback, much less than I would have expected. And finally being knocked off by Jay with the cyber swipe. Blank just desperately trying to defend. Pretty successful so far, but Winter Freezer is going to get collapsed on. Overextension. Uh-oh, a lot of abilities burned, and Winter Freezer will make the defense happen. The power play will end as Mr. Zerd doesn't quite get the barrier, but gets a ton of damage on Blank.
Yeah, most definitely. And I feel like at this point it's just so difficult for Pass, because what are you really going to be playing for, right? They're like, you just can't really go and contest Core, because if you're going to contest it, you're going to be hit by a Deadeye Finny. If you just leave it be, they're just going to end up scoring on you in the end. So it's so difficult for them to really find a good avenue here, especially when Ember's Flame is playing around the edges like that. They're just continuously threatens a KO by Zerd, as Jay finds a beautiful cyber swipe up front, flips in front of Winter Freezer, and puts it right into the corner of the goal.
And this Vini pick, I think we doubted it quite a bit, but Wisp is piloting it quite well, right? If it wasn't being piloted well, I think Blank and Coin could find some early offense. And maybe they're doing so right now, but Wisp is holding just enough, and of course, really good on providing additional damage pressure with the Deadeye, with the debuffs. And that's really making it so unwinnable for Pass.
Yeah, like, because it's damage that's being put out constantly, and it's not the type of damage where you're using abilities that you can't really use to defend with anymore. It's not really a trade-off, because you're defending with the damage, right? You're making sure the enemy is low, and through making them low, they can now not contest a score anymore. As we're now on 2 open goals, Wisps does have flip soon. Winter Freezer has it soon as well, but a beautiful glitch from Jay finds the interrupt on the pass towards Blank, and Ember's Flame takes the game 3-0 in a very, very convincing manner.
Their damage composition play is looking very solid, and I think if they can do that again to some other teams in the future, they'll be successful in that aspect as well. Their Ember's Flame's more difficult schedule is still coming up later in the season, but after a performance like that, I think they have the team comp, they have the strategy they need to translate into more wins in the season. And of course, like you mentioned, breaking that loss streak is huge for the mental.
Yeah, it does so much for you, right? Especially if you have difficult matches coming up. It's just so good to kind of go into those weeks knowing that you've just won the previous game. So that's going to do a lot for them and their mental and their chances of making it into playoffs, right? Every win counts, and if you start off the season losing to some teams that you feel like you maybe shouldn't have lost to, that means you're going to have to start winning against teams that maybe you would have cut down as a loss beforehand.
Well, Sloth, anything else that you want to mention before we end stream for the day? A pretty incredible series. 2 valiant attempts by Fly and Pass with the substitutes that played honestly better than I thought, right? At certain points during that game, if Ember wasn't so all in on damage, I think that Pass had a way back in, but then they got blown up. Well, what can you do?
Yeah, there's a limit, right? A KO comp has a certain point where it just does too much. But yeah, it is very true, right? The substitutes that are coming in from past, they did have a decent showing. It was just mainly a thing of the team comps ending up not really working out in their favor in the end. But again, also for the team of past, right? It's 1 week of 9. It's a loss that you maybe don't want to be having, but it is what it is. The best you can do at this point is move forwards and focus on your next matchup. And obviously, the next matchups are always the most important ones, because looking back on your past weeks is not really going to do much more for you unless you're starting to VOD review.
Well, on that note, Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching another week of NASA, and see you soon. Goodbye.